So I'm in the closet. I'm in my closet. And it's all because yesterday I decided to be a good husband. I was like, I got some downtime. Let me go do some cleaning of my bedroom. So, I was like, oh, let me look at the closet. The closet was a hot mess. So I decided to come into the closet and, reorganize my clothes, clean up some stuff that ended up on the floor. And I got it all nice. I got it all neat. And then I decided to go sit on the bed to take a break and watch a little Mr. Robot with the wifey. And we're just chatting. Well, a minute goes by. And then all of a sudden, all I hear is da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. And the entire top shelf with all of the crap that was on it falls down. And if you look this way, this is actually how they were bent. So this entire shelf was facing down like this. So did I expect to be in my closet on a Saturday? No, I was actually planning on doing the brakes on my car. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Apparently you can't live out of a laundry basket. You gotta hang it up for whatever reason. So, about $300 later, so I went to Home Depot. I got some shelves. I got some new brackets. And I don't know if you like this. I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel like most people will. I hate this shelving. This shelving is absolute garbage. Like, seriously, why would you even... And I don't know that it was much cheaper than what I bought. Like, this shit's pretty expensive. So like, if you're gonna put a shelf in, put in some wood. Get some better brackets. Like, what is this holding up? It's not holding up anything. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip out all this old shit. I got the old trusty lifetime warranty right here. And we're gonna get started. Maybe one of these days I'll actually make content that is, based on what I actually do instead of home projects, but here we are. You've actually caught me on a fancy day. I'm actually drinking a little bit of Starbies because I'm worth it. I actually didn't pay for this. Shout out to my older brother, Brian, because he's such a doll and he decided to bring me coffee. And it's totally not because I brought him to get his beard trimmed and to go to Home Depot with me. Okay, let's talk about why the shelf failed. Could it be possibly because it was a white shopping cart shelf? It looks like a shopping cart. Possibly, it could be because of that. But I think the major fact is most of these little screws that are on the brackets were not even in a stud. They were using anchors that went into the sheetrock. Now, that's fine if it's, something static, like you're putting up a TV and you're never going to touch it. And, it's rated for whatever weight of TV you put on it. However, it's not meant for shelving that's going to be pulled on and tugged and more crap thrown on top of it every single day. It's got to go into a stud. I should probably patch this wall. I should paint it. It's textured for the most part. It would need to be retextured on the holes. But we're actually planning on getting rid of, see this door? And we're going to plan on getting rid of this whole wall and expanding out this entire closet that way. And then covering up our vanity, which is in our bedroom. Apparently in the 90s, that was a thing. It's awful. Like, there's nothing like, waking up in the middle of the night to hear the sink turn on because your wife used the bathroom and wanted to wash her hands. If she washes her hands. So we're going to temporarily put up these shelves because we might not even use these shelves in the future. Because, we're going to expand this and we're going to put lighting. That's another thing that drives me crazy. Oh my God. Come look with me. Come look. I know it's echoey, but come look. If you look up, there's no lighting in this room. There's absolutely none. And it drives me insane. I can't stand, like, I'm looking for a shirt. I'm like, what shirt is this? Which shirt is that? I can't see. I'm getting old. I need light. You know, my last house, it was a walk-in closet and it was all properly wired and everything. I don't know if you noticed this, there's popcorn on the ceiling. And not only popcorn, there's glitter. I don't know whose idea it was to put popcorn and glitter on a ceiling, but they're insane. It doesn't make any sense. My wife loves it. She's like, oh my goodness, it's so shiny. No, I want a normal eggshell spray. Let's see, like this should be on the ceiling. The next part, what we're gonna do is, or what I'm gonna do, you do what you want, baby. I'm going to find the studs, and then I'm gonna start marking out where I want to put my brackets. And then I'm gonna try to keep this level. You know, I was like, I see all these guys, they got these fancy laser levels. You don't need that. You don't need that. Well, it is kind of helpful if you're doing a long run like this. I've got old trusty Stanley here for, you know, mounting TVs and stuff. But, you know, it's not 8 feet long. Maybe one day I'll get a laser level. If you guys want to help me out with that, I'm not gonna argue. I'm appreciative. But if you don't, it's whatever. So let's get started. What are we doing here? Well, I've got a stud buddy. These are cool, and I like the idea of them. However, you're putting your trust into your guy that hung your sheetrock. You know, was he drunk that day? Who knows? But, you know, it'll give you a general idea, because, like, I mean, you could have a screw sitting in the sheetrock, and it's nowhere near a stud. Generally, if you could find a couple of them, it gives you a good idea. But you could use one of these to, you know, really dial it in. But no, these are a good tool to quickly locate a stud. Listen, I know these are a pain in the ass. I want to get one of those, like, little sci-fi scanners to where you could see in the stud. That'd be cool. I don't know if you know this, but it's a Richardson. Want to know if a stud is behind where you've located? Get the smallest drill bit you've got, and then you put it on your drill, obviously, and then you just drill a little hole where you suspect there to be a stud. As long as you got a little wood coming out, you're good to go. All right, so now that I've got the brackets up that are gonna hold the shelves, I'm gonna put the actual piece of wood that I bought up here. That way I can make sure everything's level. You know, I mean, it's eventually coming out, but, you know, we'll try to make it as level as possible. Dead on, balls accurate. I personally think that this looks pretty good. You know, natural wood with the black brackets, I think it's gonna look nice. And then we got the black clothes hanger to go on it. I'll show you it all when we're done. But let me start doing the next ones. I actually gotta get screws. I gotta find some screws to put into the bottom of the bracket to hold the board on. I forget shit, okay? I apologize. But take a look at this. Look at that. Dead on, balls accurate. All right, so I forgot to get screws for this project when I was at the Home Depot earlier. However, I do, and these are not really meant for this, I do have some self-tapping screws that are just long enough to where they won't protrude. So we're gonna give this a try, maybe in the back of one of these brackets, so if I mess it up, it's not a big deal. We're gonna give it a shot, even though this is not what it's meant for. This is more for sheet metal, but I've used these in plastic, I've used them in metal. I wanna say I've actually used them in wood before, and you know, it turned out fine. The cool thing is it drills a pilot hole, so as long as the threads hold, that's the important part. That actually worked out pretty good. We just can't screw it too much because it is gonna drill out the wood so the threads don't catch. So we're gonna keep on going, but it's holding all right. Now you've caught me holding two big black pipes, but calm down. These are merely for holding up clothes. But it's time to remove these stickers and put these in so I can finish this up and get all my clothes back in here. Known to be a bit of a dodo bird sometimes. You know, this might be level. The only problem is when you hang the clothes, a shirt, or like a sweater, if you will, it kind of hits the thing. I don't like that, so I've come up with an elegant solution that might work. If we look at our bracket, we got one up top in the center, and we got one at the bottom of the center. It's approximately about 6 inches away from one another. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take out these screws on all of these brackets, and then we're gonna take out these last ones, and then I'm gonna have to hold this whole thing up. I'm gonna have to do it in the middle. I'm going to take this screw out. We're gonna move the whole thing up about 6 inches. We're gonna screw it back in because, you know, who couldn't do it with another 6 inches? Anyway, let's get to it. Hopefully this fixes it. If not, I'll do something else. But you know, there's enough holes in the wall already, so what's the difference? I did my idea. Hopefully there's not too much of an echo. I worry about this echo. I don't want you to have to worry about it. Anyway, so I did my idea, and just to prove to you that it worked, we're gonna show you the level. Dead on, balls accurate. You're welcome. Hopefully that's a little bit better for some clothing. Let me go grab a shirt and we'll try it out. And we're gonna see if this holds a little bit nice. Oh yeah. Much better, much better.